This is it. I think I say this every week, but every week, this is it. What is up, Fin fans? Miami Dolphins heading to Houston to take on the Texans, a team that have been a thorn in our side forever until recently. But now I'm going to talk about something with the Dolphins and the Texans when it comes to the end of the video. So hopefully you stick along, stick with me until my predictions at the end of the video, because I'm going to talk about something between these two teams. But 4 games. We got this one. We got San Fran, Cleveland, Jets. You need to win them all. This is where the narrative really gets put into fruition or whatever, because we won in December. We beat the Jets. You know, we've won in December last year. I think we had like a 2-3 record last year in December. It's not December football, it's meaningful football. And this is meaningful football. This is a meaningful game against a good team, and I'm going to talk about that also in the prediction. Stick with me. Our playoffs started after the Packers game. When we lost to the Packers, we could not lose again. So here we go. So we're going to jump into this Mamma Jam. We're going to look at everything. Going to go through the whole spiel, injury breakdown, PFF, 5 things, and then give you my prediction and talk about all the crap I keep teasing you guys with. So without further ado, let's jump into the injury report. We start with the Houston Texans here. I'm still here. So I'm always in fairness of removing essentially people who we don't need to worry about. So I will do that for them. Also, you can see me a little bit better. So their 2 did not practices for 2 straight days. Again, things will change today. Is Jalen Petrie, their safety, and Juice Scruggs. That's a name. Their guard/center limited was their defensive tackle. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one. Kenyon Green, their guard, and linebacker Christian Harris. And then also you have Jamal Hill, who popped up with a knee. And Joe Mixon, non-injury related rest. So they're just kind of resting him, preparing for this game. And then on the flip side, you have the Miami Dolphins. Again, large and in charge, but I will remove the ones we don't have to worry about, but we still have a lot of did not practices. Teron Armstead with his knee injury. We have Odell Beckham, which is personal. He's probably not going to play. The amount of stuff we've had to deal with him and his personal and all that stuff. We have D. Estridge with a knee injury. He's probably not going to play. And we have Kendall Lamb with a back injury. He did not practice. Will he play? I don't know, but I don't know who would replace him, being that I don't think Teron Armstead's going to play. So we'll have Patrick Paul as our left tackle, who the flip's going to be the right tackle if Kendall Lamb can't go. This is all just fantastic going into this game. I don't expect Odell to play because we don't really need him anymore. If I'm being 100% honest with you, Malik Washington's doing fantastic. River Craycraft is back. We still have Braxton Berrios. No, we don't have Braxton. We don't have Braxton Berrios. He's injured. But River Craycraft, I would be surprised if Odell plays, and I really don't care in that aspect of it. Jordan Brooks was limited, and then we have, Bradley Chubb and Cameron Goodall limited. I will talk about them in a second. Grant Dubois limited. Again, another receiver we brought back. Kind of about him. Alec Ingle, Raheem Mostert said he will be playing this game, even though he did miss last week against the Jets. And we have Jalen Waddle with a hamstring limited. I will be surprised if he doesn't play. If I'm a predicting man, Teron Armstead, Odell, and Estridge are probably not going to play. Kendall Lamb is interesting to me. We'll see how Kendall Lamb does, and if he pops up on the injury report later today, I will make a video tomorrow giving you guys an update on all of that stuff, or maybe later today we might get some news. Speaking of that, and this is what I want to talk about before we get to the breakdown, they interviewed Bradley Chubb, and you know how they came out and said it's an ACL plus, and I kept making fun of it, saying like blah blah blah, it sounds like a DirecTV cable package. Well, he came out and said he tore his ACL, his PCL, and his MCL, so he destroyed his knee. And that's why it took him so, like, normally if you tear your ACL, he probably would have been back probably say the Raiders game, but I think the fact that it was multiple tears on multiple ligaments was the reason why. Apparently, they will find out after today's practice if they are going to activate him. The Dolphins need an injection of some type of life into this defense and this pass rush, because we are second to last in sacks compared to last place, which is the Atlanta Falcons. So we need something with him and Cameron Good to come back and give some type of boost. Even if they're both 70%, like Omar Kelly said, we need some type of boost to this pass rush ability. He doesn't have to play every down, and we'd have a beautiful rotation with him, Good, Agba, Chop. You know, it would be nice to have that in there. But if you're not going to play this week, then you might as well just hang him up, because, you know, this is it. You know, the Dolphins lose this game, the season's over. It's plain simple, and I'll get more into that. So that is the injury report. Now we go into the breakdown. We'll start with the Miami Dolphins on defense. The Dolphins have the 9th best defense, which, again, you could take that with what it wants. You definitely picked on worse teams. 11th in passing, 7th in rushing. We'll talk about that. 14th scoring. Sacks, they are 30th. Like I said, tied for 30th. Third down defense, they are 4th. And takeaways, they are 23rd. You're facing an offense that's kind of middle of the pack, maybe a little less than middle of the pack. 18th in total offense, but passing is 17th. Rushing is only 16th, which is surprising to me. Scoring is 11th. They are not great at getting, they aren't great, and their offensive line struggles. Again, 26 in sacks. Third down offense isn't great, 21st, and giveaways is 12th. They tend to not give the ball up. You look at the Miami Dolphins offense versus their defense. Again, these stats can be misleading because the team is playing way better, putting up more points, more yards with Tua back. But we are 19th in total offense, 14th in passing, 24th in rushing. That isn't a misconception. Our rushing has been garbage the past few weeks. Scoring 23rd, sacks allowed 16th, third down offense 14th, giveaways 10th. And their defense is pretty good. 5th in total defense, 7th in passing, 10th in rushing, 12th in scoring, 2nd in sacks, 6th in third down defense, and 3rd in takeaways. But like I said about the Dolphins defense and how good they are, I have something I'm going to say about that Texans defense and those stats in my prediction. So be sure to stick around till the prediction part, because I have a lot of things that I want to address and I want to talk about. But it seems like, you know, it's our defense versus their offense, you know, is the big one to me. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. I have a lot to talk about in this video. But first, we're going to jump over to PFF. Again, their PFF grades, I take them with a grain of salt, because Tua will have fantastic games, or they'll have like somebody who's like not playing great, have high, like they go off of such stipulations and things. It's just weird to me. But for me, looking at this, it gives us an idea of who's going against who. Like Collins is the one that scares the crap out of me. Their receiving core in Collins and Dell is really what scares me. Ramsey and Fuller need to have their best game of the season. Stroud, he's kind of in a little bit of a sophomore slump, but he's still very dangerous. You have Tunsil and Howard. The interior of the offensive line is okay. Schultz, you got to worry about him. We are horrible at covering the tight end. Mixon, again. You look at our defense. The defensive line, again, if we can get Chop in here, I think we'd be great here. Walker is struggling mightily. I would honestly have him be a situational guy, and I put Terrell Dotson in there. Our secondary struggling. Look at Javon Holland. You know, I showed you in the film breakdown how he didn't try to tackle Howard. He initiated the block, and some of you guys were saying, well, he initiated the block so the safety or the corner can go around him. That's not how that works. He should have went after the tackle and made the tackle like he's done plenty of times in the past. It seems like that was more of a business decision. I don't know. And then we flip it around to look at the Dolphins offense versus their defense. You have Waddle and Hill. Malik Washington is, you know, becoming a really good number 3 for us. Jonnu, and we really need to see something continue to be that high threat that we have. Tua, HN doing their thing. Brewer and Kendall Lamb are, to me, the problem is the guards in Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg. You're facing a good pass rush in Hunter and Anderson. You need to be able to contain these two. Their interior is not so scary. Their linebackers are okay. You can attack these corners, even though Stingley Jr. is pretty good. You can attack this secondary. It's more about giving time and allowing things to develop for the passing game. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, we're not dinking and dunking Tua this. And, they just want to crap on Tua instead of looking at the bigger picture. And, the whole point is they're trying to take away the big gains down the field, especially if you can't let the plays develop. Fun fact, Tua Tagovailoa, again, for another consistent year, is dead last in the NFL with time to throw. Not release time, time to throw. 50th, not even 32nd. 50th, which means even some of the backups have more time to throw than Tua does. That is sad. So it needs to be better there, especially, again, if you want to have a passing game and a deep accuracy, whatever, passing game, you really need to have time for these plays to develop, especially if they're going to get jammed at the line of scrimmage, because we don't have big receivers. We don't have those big, tall, physical receivers like the Justin Jeffersons, like the Amari Coopers, like these big guys who will be able to get, the Browns and all that stuff. So you need to let those things develop. So now we jump into the 5 things that the Miami Dolphins need to do if they want to win this game and continue to have some type of hope for the playoffs. No specific order, just me going through my spiel, looking at stats, all that stuff, and I go first to 5th. So number 1, you got to run the ball. A complete drop off from being able to run the ball. We were doing really well at some points, even against the Patriots, had 2 80-yard rushers, and then it just completely fell off. And this offensive line struggled by city. You look at Liam Eichenberg getting blown back into the offensive backfield. Our best offensive blocker right now, to me, is Aaron Brewer, and I was very indifferent about him, and I can sit here and own up to being dead wrong. I love the addition of Aaron Brewer now, and I'm very happy with him as our center. But outside of that, you have Patrick Paul, who's still young. He's mauling people, but he's still a little slow. And we're throwing these tosses to the left and the right, which drives me nuts. You got to have speed at the guards to get over there and block. We don't. And I showed you in the film breakdown where Robert Jones couldn't get over to block a guy, and we couldn't pick up a big chunk yardage. We need to just north and south run it, man. You stop with the pitches in the backfield. I know you like these little trickerations, but some of them work. Like the one where we pitched like we were running to the right, but Tyreek Hill came over and he took it and went the opposite way. Those are great. Call them in situational downs, but outside of that, you got to go north and south, maybe outside runs, but stop pitching the ball because it gives too much time for these defensive linemen to get in the backfield. But we got to run the ball. Our defense isn't great. We saw it against the Packers. We saw it against the Jets. We saw it against the Bills. We saw it against the Cardinals. Like, the defense isn't great at all. And, unfortunately it was when Tua wasn't in there. Not great, but it was good when Tua wasn't in there. And now that he's back, the defense just is falling off completely. Stop, got to run the ball and let our defense rest. And if we're going to run the ball, we got to stop the run. We are facing a very good running back in Mixon. 11th in yards per carry. 11th in yards. His yards per carry are 4.3. Against the New England Patriots, we allowed 4 yards per carry. Against the Green Bay Packers, 4.6 yards per carry. Against the Jets, another 4 yards per carry. And the New England Patriots and the Jets both had third-day picks as their running backs that did that to us. So, yeah, like I said, you saw the stats where I did the breakdown where our rush defense isn't too bad. It's got to be better. And the team knows it's got to be better. Weaver knows it's got to be better. You got to be able to stop the run. You got to force these guys to go into a one-dimensional offense so we can get after them. But again, you're facing now CJ Stroud, who is a mobile quarterback. So it's another situation we got to deal with him keeping the ball, him running. So that's, again, where I put Terrell Dotson in and I take Anthony Walker Jr. out because he's not fast enough. He's not. And you have Brooks and Dotson, who are fast enough to be able to cover the ground, especially if you do have that mobile quarterback in there, or if you do have these running backs who are going to get to the edge. So you got to stop the run. You got to. Number 3, better secondary. Last week I said, I think I said better offense, better O-line play. I said something better last week. This is why I keep my notes. For all the things I do on this channel, so I can go back and check. Better O-line play. Yes, that's exactly what I said. And we had no sacks. Well, we need a better secondary play. You're facing two very good receivers. You're facing a very good tight end. And we played like garbage against the Jets. You had Jalen Ramsey falling. You had Jalen Ramsey getting beat across his face. You have our safeties who are just not good, leaving guys open. You had Cater Kohu with miscommunication, getting beat left and right. Kendall Fuller was the only one who had a good game. Outside of that, everyone sucked. Can't do it. You can't do it, especially against this passing team in the Houston Texans. So you have to be able, and you need to shut that stuff down. If we're going to shut down the run, the secondary has to be able to do something. Stop backing off. Jam them at the line of scrimmage. Allow for the pass rush to get at least 1 or 2 seconds to get there without a drop back and throw, because then the pass rush will never get there. So we need a better play out of our secondary. Number 3, number 4 on my list. You got to keep up. You figure out what that means. What does keep up mean to you? To me, it means keep up the special teams. We had Jason Sanders get special team player of the month, and then he comes out, he misses the extra point, but he makes every field goal after that. It's especially a 57-yarder. Huge for us. This man needs to keep it up. You have Malik Washington get us into a good situation on our own 46 on a kick return, running through their kicker. Doing really well. The punting actually was not bad. Keep up the special teams. You know, we've been hating on it. I've been hating on it because it's been hot garbage of late. But the past few games, the special teams has actually been pretty good. So we got to keep it up. All facets of the game need to keep it up. This is the playoffs. You're facing a team that's already in the playoffs that is winning their division for now. A lot could change. You just got to play like you're in the playoffs. All facets of the game. All 3. And if we're keeping up the special teams, if we need a better secondary, if we need to run and stop the run, no mistakes, no turnovers, no sacks in critical situation, no instant sacks where the offensive linemen are making mistakes, no holding Alec Ingold on a 26-yard run that would have helped us in certain situations, no drop balls, Tyreek Hill and Odell Beckham. No interceptions to it, no missed opportunities in the passing game, no bad play call, just no mistakes. Clean game. Play fundamental football. Clean game. Take your time. Do to them what you did to the Raiders. Eat up the clock. I don't care if we have 2 possessions in the first half. Go into halftime up 14-0 because you ate up the clock and you scored both times. That'd be beautiful. But no mistakes. You can't have it. You don't give them more opportunities to score on you. Keep it a tight game. That being said, let's get into all the things I wanted to talk about. So, first thing I want to talk about is the Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins. They are 2 franchises that in 2019 and then 2020 and 2021 looked like going in opposite directions. The Dolphins fleeced the crap out of them for Laramie Tunsil. They got a ton of draft picks that just crippled their franchise, and the Dolphins were able to get multiple first-round picks to add so many players. But you look at the team now, you look at the team last year, and they went from Dolphins and Texans to Dolphins and Texans. The Texans are taking off. The Texans have their quarterback of the future. They have a good head coach. They have a good defense. They added players. They have good wide receivers. And the Dolphins are struggling to stay relevant. 2 different directions for a team that the Dolphins took complete advantage of. Funny how that works, isn't it? You look at these teams, and they're in 2 different directions, but they have something eerily similar. Now, on Twitter, a man by the name of Darren Scotts came out and said this: the Texans, Dolphins, Chargers, Bills, Packers, and Broncos each have only 1 win versus a winning team. Only the Dolphins and Tua get crap for it. And I sat back and I said, is that true? Now, I'm not questioning Darren Scott, but obviously I'm making this video, so I want to show you. It's 100% true. The Houston Texans beat the Indianapolis Colts, the Bears, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the New England Patriots, the Indianapolis Colts again, the Dallas Cowboys, and recently the Jacksonville Jaguars. The only team with a winning record that they bet they beat was the Buffalo Bills. They lost to the Vikings, the Packers, the Jets, I'm sorry for that one, the Lions, and the Tennessee Titans. So again, like I said in the breakdown, some of their numbers are a little inflated on the defense because they beat up on bad teams like the Bears, like the Colts, like the Jaguars, like the Patriots. They play the Colts. They're in a division where they play the Colts, the Titans, and the Colts, the Titans, and the Jaguars twice. So not saying they're not a good team and not saying it is what it is, but it's a team where we could win this game and we should be competitive in this game. But this is another game like the Green Bay Packers game where I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm going to take my bias fandom hat off and I'm going to look at the game objectively. And it's another game where the Dolphins need to shut down a narrative and they're facing a winning team with stakes on the line. And normally in these games, the Dolphins trip all over themselves like they did in the Green Bay Packers game. And until I'm proven otherwise, I cannot put myself through getting my hopes up for them to be crushed. Because after this, the Dolphins play the 49ers, who just lost to the Rams and look horrible. They play the Browns in Cleveland, who haven't looked good. And they play the Jets, who they already beaten. And at that point, Aaron Rodgers might not be playing, and a lot of guys might not be playing because their season's already over. What's the point and what are they trying for? This is the game that they need to take. This is the game. This is it. You beat the Texans. It's not that bad on the next three. You're home for the next one. And then, of course, you got the cold games, but the teams aren't good. I just think they're going to Dolphin it up, if I'm being honest with you, because, again, it's a situation. They go 10-7. They win every single game. They're in the playoffs. It's very easy for them to go in the playoffs because the Broncos, yes, they face the Colts, but then after that, they face the Chargers and they face the Bengals, two teams that they can very easily lose to. You got to get to 10-7. And if the Texans fall apart and the Colts take that division, you have the win over them, and there's a possibility to get to the 6th seed and you don't have to face Buffalo. But again, I've been down this road. I've been down this road so many times. Last year, the Miami Dolphins taking on the Tennessee Titans. We were up by 2 scores. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game, and we lost. If we would have won that game, we would have clinched the division after beating the Dallas Cowboys. And the Ravens and Bills game wouldn't have meant anything. Like, it's so Dolphins, and I'm not doing it to myself again. Now, I'm going to be rooting, and I'm going to be hoping and praying with all my heart that the Miami Dolphins win this game. And they have an opportunity, and they can win this game. If all facets of the game play, like I said in the 5 reasons why, they definitely can win this game. If the passing game gets going, and if we can run the ball, and we can really isolate their pass rush, and if our defense can get after C.J. Stroud with their interior offensive line struggling, and our secondary wakes the flip up and plays like they should be playing, we can definitely win this game. It's in a dome. 100% we can win this game. And if they were to win this game, I think it would be like a 28-20 win. But I'm not setting myself up for that fall, man. You guys know my motto. I'd rather be surprised than let down. I think the Texans are going to win this 30-20. I think we'll make it a tight game, but I think in the end, we're just going to be out of the grasp of getting the win. That's what I think. That's not what I hope for, and that's not what I'm going to be praying for. It's just, when I make these preview videos and I make my prediction, I tell you what I feel here and I tell you what I feel here, and that's just what I'm feeling. So you can be mad at me. I can't believe you picked, against us and but it's better to go into these games with the mentality of, hey, if we win, this is fantastic. But if we lose, I expected it. I'm at that point now. I just don't want to be hurt anymore. They keep hurting me. But comment below if you're mad at me for not picking the Dolphins. I understand, but I try to keep this channel as unbiased and even keel as possible. So there you go. But comment below. Let me know. Big game. I'll see you tomorrow with more updates on Bradley Chubb, Cameron Good, Teron Armstead. All the guys. Are they going to play? Are they not going to play? If Bradley Cooper is activated, I'll probably make a video when that happens. But other than that, I'll see you tomorrow. And then I'll see you on Sunday at 1 o'clock. My dad will be here for that. But like usual, stay classy. And fins up.